What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Resident Evil gameplay for you. And today I have some interesting news that I found out right before I was about to go to bed yesterday that I wanted to talk about today, because this information is definitely going to have a lot of people talking, because I think it reveals maybe a little bit too much, because it's very important. And I think it's going to have a lot of people speculating even deeper now than ever before. It's got me a little bit excited, curious, but also a little bit worried about a few things. So what I find out, well, before I went to bed yesterday, I saw someone had posted some information, which happens to be the synopsis of the game, which you can now go onto the website of Resident Evil Requiem to see, where they go through like the story, the characters, the marketing, etc., etc. But it's the synopsis that I want to focus on, because it reveals a lot of things that this game is about, and ultimately what I think this game has to have to deliver and be satisfying. So I'm going to have it up on the screen right now so that we all can read it together. Everything is set in motion when a body, the victim of an unidentifiable disease, is discovered in an abandoned hotel. FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft is assigned to the case, but the crime scene is at the very same hotel where her mother died 8 years ago. Grace prepares to finally face the past and makes her way to the scene, but this one case leads to uncovering the hidden truth behind the outbreak in Raccoon City, the biological disaster that shook the world. Will this be the Requiem that finally lays the memories of that aberrant disease to rest? And that is the end of the synopsis. And that is a lot to unpack. So the first two sentences aren't too big of a deal. They're kind of what we already knew. But it's that third paragraph that really has a whopper, basically. Basically saying that this whole case that Grace starts and leads is going to ultimately lead to discovering the hidden truth behind the whole Raccoon City incident. And that's a big deal, because let's be honest, I thought we already kind of knew everything about it, but obviously this game is now leading us to believe that there's something even more that we're not even aware of. And one of the things I've heard from a lot of the leakers, rumors or something, is that this game is going to be the conclusion of the story that started in Resident Evil 0 and 1. So there might be more to this tale than we thought. Maybe even the whole cover-up. Maybe even the whole missile launch itself. Maybe all that was possibly planned. I'm just speculating right now. We don't know. But what could it possibly be? Is this something that happened after the fact? Or was this always in the making? Is this going to be like kind of like a soft retcon? Or was this always planned out? Who really knows? I'd probably say more the latter, that it's kind of like, you know, maybe a little bit planned out, or maybe they kind of made up a little bit along the way, because, you know, Capcom isn't the greatest in storytelling and stuff, but it's definitely interesting. But here's the thing that's really got me thinking, because someone else made a comment about this, and I definitely 100% agree with them. And someone was saying how, knowing this now, it would be a damn shame if any of the OG characters from that era between Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil Nemesis did not make it into this game. Because knowing that there's an even deeper secret to what started this whole thing that for some reason we don't know, that's remained anonymous for all these years, even maybe possibly from the characters themselves, must mean that there's unfinished business that is still not satisfied and dealt with, that started the OG characters off on their whole vendetta against Umbrella and stopping viral terrorists and outbreaks all across the world. What I'm basically getting at is that the OG characters from that era, they have to be in this game. There's no excuse. They have to be in this game. Because you can't have a resolution to the story that started from Raccoon City, from the mansion, from, you know, the viral outbreak, and not have a good majority, if not all, of those characters who survived those instances, who, you know, started what they were going to do for the next 25 years in fighting these, you know, terrorists, bioterrorists, etc., these outbreaks, and then have them at the conclusion, the swan song of this whole thing, not be in a game, and not be in a game in a meaningful way. It goes beyond just saying, oh my God, are we going to have Leon, or are we going to have Jill in it? We better have Leon, Jill, Chris, and a lot more as well. You know, Barry, Rebecca, Ada, Claire. I know more chances than not, it's probably not going to happen. But at the very least, you have to have the major players in this game. You can't not have an excuse with her not in the game. Like, we've been hearing the whole thing that Grace is a main character and that there's probably going to be another playable character, and more than likely it's going to be Leon. But how would that be ambitious, the most ambitious Resident Evil, if that's all there is for this conclusion? No, that wouldn't be ambitious at all. That'd just be kind of lackluster. I'll give an example. It'd be like if we're prepping the Justice League all these years, or, the Avengers, and probably more people know the Avengers nowadays. Maybe one day the Justice League gets some love, but if the Avengers are being prepping up to fight Thanos like they were in the movies, and when we finally get to the stage of fighting Thanos for the final battle, we don't have the core Avengers like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. We just have Ant-Man, Groot, and, I don't know, Iron Fist or something like that. Something like that. Nothing against those characters, but they weren't the people that started this stuff. The individuals that started this path, barring that they aren't dead, which they aren't in this circumstance, they have to be the ones there to see the conclusion of it, or it's just an incomplete tale. So, yes, I expect Leon to be there, and he should be there. There's no question asked. He had a part to play in all this. Jill's got to be there. I mean, I'll just say right now, no one has more of an attachment to this whole incident than Jill, because she has the most experience from this incident than anyone else. She survived the mansion. She also survived the city within a few months. And she watched the city that she lived in get destroyed, as well as the people she loved and cared about die alongside her, and being one of the few survivors, and then watching the whole city get basically bombed and blasted away. So, yeah, she has to be there. Chris has to be there. Obviously, a STARS member, someone who survived the mansion and started his vendetta against Umbrella and viral outbreaks. Rebecca has to be in there. She's someone who survived 0 and 1. Barry has to have some type of role in there. He's obviously someone who survived the mansion and obviously wants to help out and, has personal vendetta for being a STARS member. Claire has to be there. She's someone who also survived the events of Raccoon City. Ada has to be there because she's also someone who was intertwined in the events of Raccoon City. What I'm getting at is that you can't have a conclusion of this storyline and not have the main cast in there. It just would be the most lackluster, unambitious project ever. So when they say it's the most ambitious project ever, I hope they weren't just talking about the gameplay, because from the storytelling characters, they're really going to have to do a lot of work. And that's where maybe a little bit of my fear comes, because I know a lot of people bring up, Resident Evil 6, and I get it, understand it, but you can't have a culmination of something like this and not have these people there. And I know some people might be like, well, get the main ones at least. If I can get at least Chris, Jill, Leon, and I guess one other, you can pick or choose whoever you want, I think that would be good. But also, you see the other people play some type of role. Now, what roles they're going to play, whether they're going to be playable or there as support or whatever, they have to be somehow present. Like Barry, I don't think he's going to go out in the field. He's up there in age, but just hearing him in the background or something, that would be a good crowd-pleasing moment. You have to have him. But then I get to the other problem, knowing that now they've really got their work cut out for them, is that I look at the new main character, Grace, and guys, I'll be honest with you, the more I think about it, and maybe I'm overreacting for this, but I'm really worried for Grace. And the problem is, I was talking to somebody, and when they did Ethan in Resident Evil 7, they did a good thing for him in not having a major character overshadow his game. Like, Chris was obviously in 7, but at the very end, and he had DLC post the game. And then in Resident Evil Village, even though it was marketed heavily, he's not in the game a lot. Both of these games were still Ethan's game. He was given time and room to breathe in them. The problem with Grace is it looks like she's already going to have a big shadow overshadowing her in Leon. And trust me, no one's going to get out of the Leon shadow no matter how hard they try. But now that we have this information that Raccoon City's whole viral outbreak has a deeper secret to it that hasn't been revealed, and why we're going back, knowing that it has to involve other people, OG characters that have to be there, this game is now starting to look like it's an impossible thing to come true. Like, even if they really knew what they're doing, I don't know how they can pull it off. Something's going to have to suffer, or something's just not going to come through and work out in the end. I wish them the best of luck, and they're going to need a lot of luck. So I hope their ambitions are well thought out, and I hope it works out for them. And Grace, I'll tell you this right now, if you become an iconic character in this situation, no matter who it is in the game, you definitely deserved it and you earned it. But she's got a lot of things working against her. But that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think this game is way too ambitious sounding and just plain impossible for it to be pulled off in a satisfying way?
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Or do you feel like this will be the ultimate reunion that'll be satisfying and make fans really pleased about it?
It's like a Raccoon City reunion.
And by reunion, I mean an actual reunion, not what we had in RE6 where half the people are missing. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.